Hey, everybody out there in podcast land. Yes, once again, it's me, the Maestro, Kevin Crane, flying solo for the last time. I know the last couple of weeks you've had to deal with me and me alone, and the taping schedule for Sports Frenzy 2.0 has been a mess. But it's the holidays. What do you expect? So we're going to have one more week where we have a day delay in taping our full Sports Frenzy 2.0 episode, normally dropping on Thursday mornings. It will now drop Thursday evening. The Conquistador will be back with me. This will, again, not impact the weekend edition. The weekend edition always goes off on time without a hitch, but because we're trying to stay more relevant and stay more timely with the sports discussion, with the sports commentary on our regular Sports Frenzy 2.0 episodes, that's where things get mixed up. So, taping here Wednesday night, December the 7th, 2022, a very extra special bonus episode with me, just to get you through the next 24 hours until Dave and I can break down all the baseball free agent signings. I can rip the Cubs to shreds. He can rip the White Sox to shreds. We can talk about the crazy money being given out to 40-year-old pitchers. And, of course, the drama involving Aaron Judge. Was he going to ever go to the West Coast? But he ends up staying with the Yankees. Again, we'll talk more in depth about that stuff tomorrow night in our full regular episode. But I'm going to give you some little notes and tidbits on some of the other things that are going on in the world of sports and in the world of entertainment to tide you over. Now, of course, we don't have a lot going on in the world of racing right now. Of course, NASCAR has crowned its champion, Joey Logano, on the Cup level. We're still a few months away from February and from going back to California for the exhibition race, the Busch Clash, out at the LA Coliseum again for the second year in a row, coming up in February. But of course, NASCAR, just like any other entity, whether it be the NFL, Major League Baseball, Hollywood, has to, of course, have an award show to pat themselves on the back and tell themselves how awesome they are. So, the NASCAR Awards were held recently. And of course, this is where they give out the hardware to the champions of each level: Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and of course, the Truck Series. But the one thing I want to bring up about NASCAR's awards, and I think the ESPYs do this as well. Number one, it drives me crazy. Are we in high school where we have to have awards for the most popular this or the most popular that? Is that how pathetic we are as a society now, that we're still doing this kind of garbage? I would think high schools don't do it anymore like they did 30, 40, 50 years ago, because if you were to dare elect somebody most popular, you would trigger all the snowflakes in the student body. Why somebody get to be more popular than somebody else? In that sense, I could care less. The snowflakes can whine and cry all they want. I just find it a little ridiculous and a little stupid that NASCAR is still clinging to this tradition of having a most popular driver each and every year. Bill Elliott had a huge long run. then Dale Earnhardt Jr., and now it's Chase Elliott. What does this prove? What does this prove? Other than bolstering the ego of the drivers who win it. Oh, because it's the only award completely and totally decided by the fans. Who cares? Who cares? Sorry, a lot of the fans out there are ignorant. And we shouldn't be voting on a most popular driver. It means nothing. It makes no sense. What did Dale Earnhardt Jr. ever accomplish in his career? At least the Elliots won championships. Dale Earnhardt Jr. lived off the back of his dead father. Sorry for being so cruel and harsh, but it's true. It's a fact. So what does Dale Jr. go home and look at all his most popular driver awards and sit there and tell himself in the mirror how wonderful he is, even though he never won a cup title? Never really came close to winning a cup title? So Chase Elliott won most popular driver in the Cup Series again. Noah Gragson won it in the Xfinity Series. In the Truck Series, a certain wonderful, beautiful young woman named Hailie Deegan happened to win most popular driver in the Truck Series. I wonder why she won. Maybe because she's a hot box of rocks? Now, of course, Danica Patrick never won most popular driver in the Cup Series. So, good to see there's some equality, some gender equality going on here in NASCAR with their most popular driver awards. Yeah, right. One other racing note to bring up. I know we don't need another channel, especially another sports channel out there. But Speed Sport 1 is coming next year, spring of 2023. This sounds like a channel that's got some good backing, some good planning behind it. It is scheduled to have per year 400 plus live events, all types of racing, all types of motorsports. Of course, if you remember Speed Vision, which eventually ended up going away, maybe Speed Sport 1 will succeed where Speed Vision failed. But I find it interesting. I'll check it out if it happens to pop up on my channel lineup for YouTube TV, or maybe it'll end up on Roku or Tubi or Pluto or one of those platforms. So look forward to Speed Sport 1 coming in the spring of 2023. All you gearheads out there. All right, last week's discussion of coaching changes. And of course, that was once again me, and once again, one of these shorter, extra special bonus episodes. Well, we've got more. And of course, the big one is Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State to take over as the Colorado head coach. Now, anybody that knows me knows I do not like Deion Sanders. I do not like him at all. I think he was an overrated mercenary in the NFL, comparable to one LeBron James. You guys know how I feel about him. And I get it. The college coaching situation is a mess. The transfer portal, which Dave and I will talk more about tomorrow night, is turning everything into an abject disaster. You give people too much freedom, you destroy. structure, and integrity. And that is exactly what we're seeing this year with the transfer portal. We've got one kid who's going to play for his fourth team in 4 years. More on that again tomorrow night. And Dave and I will talk more about Deion Sanders as well, but I just want to bring up the fact that he's a phony. He's an absolute phony. He used Jackson State to enhance his own reputation. I know he's not the only one, all right? But don't act like he's more pristine, more virtuous than all these other coaches who jump from school to school, ship to ship, port to port. And then, of course, everybody's applauding the fact that he comes in and tells all the current Colorado players, you all just should transfer right now. Basically, he doesn't want any of them. So he went nuclear option. Everybody knows Colorado is terrible right now. I believe they only won one game this year. Long, long, long way away from the glory days of Cordell Stewart. But at the same time, I just hope Deion Sanders gets a taste of his own medicine at some point here once he starts playing and coaching in the big leagues with the big boys. Now, the one thing he's got going for him is that the Pac-12, the Pac-10, whatever it ends up being now, once USC and UCLA leave, is going to be a lot weaker, more ripe for the picking. So he could find success with Colorado in a weakened, diminished Pac-10 a couple years from now. But again, don't like Deion Sanders. And of course, he's got to install his own child as the leader of Colorado on this new team, this new regime. Never have I been a fan of that. Never have I been a fan of nepotism in any way, shape, or form, whether it's college football recruiting, whether it's college or pro announcing and broadcasting. Nepotism sucks. Nepotism usually means that you're getting a lesser talented, more entitled douchebag running the situation, playing quarterback, calling the games, than you would otherwise. You have let somebody else out in the cold who had more talent, more charisma, more leadership because they didn't have the right last name. And then the one other coaching change I want to bring up here, and I don't think Dave will fault me for talking about this one, because on the surface it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I still struggle to find out why some of these coaches make lateral moves. Now, of course, Deion Sanders, even though he's going to a one-win Colorado team, is still making a jump up into the big leagues in terms of college coaching. Scott Satterfield, on the other hand, we talked about Luke Fickell leaving Cincinnati to go to Wisconsin. I question that because Luke Fickell was building a great program in Cincinnati, and now he wants to go to the stodgy, boring old Wisconsin football program. Now, in years past, you could say he was jumping up into one of the Power 5 conferences, but remember, Cincinnati is joining the Big 12. So it's not a huge vertical move up like you would think. And of course, I know money's getting thrown around, but you're telling me the school that he was at, in this case, Satterfield, going from Louisville to Cincinnati, is that really a big jump up? To me, that seems like a lateral move. Okay, you're going from the ACC in Louisville to potentially in a few years, the Big 12 with Cincinnati. Big whoop. And then, of course, now the trickle-down effect is that Jeff Brom, Purdue's head coach, who he just coached them in the Big Ten championship game, is now leaving Purdue to go back to his alma mater at Louisville. And again, I go, you're going from the Big Ten to the ACC. You're going from a mid-level Big Ten to a mid-level ACC program. I get it's his alma mater, but again, what is the deal with these college coaches? They won't stay and build a program. We're not talking about leaving Utah State to take over the head coaching job at Alabama, okay? We're talking about lateral moves. Is it something in the DNA of these college coaches? Because I still think Lane Kiffin actually finally might have gotten it right by staying at Mississippi, and now he can build that program up. If he had left and gone to Auburn, again, he leaves a program in ruins and in rubble and in shambles. But now by sticking around, he can create something of his own making. He can create a program that makes him a legend for Ole Miss. Whereas all these other coaches jumping again around and around in seemingly haphazard, random ways just makes zero sense to me. And finally, wrapping up the world of sports here on our short aperitif extra special bonus episode. The last we're going to talk about soccer for a long, long time. Until at least, I guess, somebody wins the World Cup. The U.S. did get knocked out, I believe, round of 16. Sorry, I'm not apologizing per se for that because I really don't care about soccer. They lost 3-1 to the Netherlands, so the U.S. men's team goes bye-bye. By all accounts, achieving a little bit more than they were supposed to. A modest success for them here in this World Cup. Bravo. Done with soccer. No more soccer on Sports Frenzy. Thank God. Now, of course, as I mentioned, tomorrow night, Thursday night, December the 8th, Dave and I will be doing our regular Sports Frenzy 2.0 episode. As I mentioned, baseball news, lots of football to recap and look back at, championship weekend in college football. I don't know if Dave's going to want to talk about the state of his Blackhawks in hockey, but I'll leave that up to him. So make sure you check out tomorrow night's full episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0. But of course, the weekend edition hits Saturday morning, as always. And anytime we have these issues with taping, the weekend edition is never affected. Dave and I will be reviewing Steel Panther live last week in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I will have a review of the horror movie, the big hit horror movie that was recently in theaters now on Paramount Plus, Smile. I believe Dave will have a review of the brand new David Harbour movie in theaters right now, Violent Night, with him playing a mix between Santa Claus and the Punisher. So you want to check that out this Saturday morning as you get over your Friday night hangover. But before I wrap up this extra special bonus episode, let's talk a little bit about the world of entertainment and the pretentious awards season that has just begun here in December of 2022. Of course, it will stretch out for the next few months. We talked about the NASCAR awards, so let's bring it full circle. talk about Hollywood and how they love to congratulate themselves and pat themselves on the back or on the ass. Oh, sorry, they can't do that anymore. Thanks, Harvey Weinstein. The first major film awards of the year were given out here recently, the New York Film Critics. If that doesn't scream pretentiousness, I don't know what else does. And of course, again, Hollywood shows how out of touch they are with the common moviegoer, with the average moviegoer like you and me. Yes, we like things that are intelligent. Yes, we like things that are thoughtful and well written and well acted. But the critics always go so far overboard into territory that we don't want to watch, topics we don't want to hear about because the world stinks and sucks as it is. But Hollywood feels a need to jam negativity down our throats. This year, at least so far, with the New York Film Critics as the spearhead for this award season, it's not quite as bad as it has been in years past. Now, their best film, best actress, the film was Tar. Best actress in Tar, Cate Blanchett. Not my cup of tea. I am not getting sucked in anymore. I don't care if this wins Best Picture from the Oscars, the Golden Globes. A movie about a female conductor in Germany. Come on. I'm already falling asleep just thinking about this movie. And it doesn't matter how great of an actress Cate Blanchett is. Who outside of pretentious New York or LA people are going to see a movie about, who cares if she's male, female? Who's going to go see a movie about a classical music or a symphony composer and conductor? Who's going to go see that movie? That movie is not going to do jack shit at the box office. And that's a pattern that we've seen in these awards for the last 4 or 5 years. Nomadland did nothing, and it was awful. I don't care if it won Best Picture at the Oscars. It was awful. Again, they don't care about popularity, which in a way is fine, but they also don't care about movies that connect with a broad audience. They want to be in their little insular world, all these critics, and say, oh, look, we're so smart and we're so intelligent that we love this movie and we, wink, wink, get it. While those bums and those idiots in flyover country don't get it. Best Actor at the New York Film Critics went to Colin Farrell. Now, there were a couple movies listed. I guess that's the way they do it with this particular set of awards. You can have multiple films that qualify you. But of course, the big one was The Banshees of Inisherin, which is hitting HBO Max next week. And I do plan on watching that because I do like Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, who co-stars in this movie with him. Of course, if you ever saw the movie In Bruges, you would know these two guys have worked together before, so I am kind of looking forward to seeing this one. Like I said, these group of award winners here for the New York Film Critics, not as terrible as we've seen in years past from the Oscars and the Golden Globes. Now, I recently reviewed Nope, Jordan Peele's third movie. Was not a fan of Keke Palmer playing the sister, whereas Daniel Kaluuya, the brother, was very morose, very robotic. She was the exact opposite. She was hyper and crazy and wired all the time. I do not think this was a an award-winning performance by any stretch, but of course, in the day and age of political correctness, we've got to give her some accolades because Jordan Peele is such a socially conscious filmmaker. You guys know how I feel about Nope. If you heard my review, it was okay at best, mediocre. Now, the cool thing about the Supporting Actor Award, this was a movie that I've watched. I, again, thought it was good, not great, kind of like Nope. My daughter loves it. She's watched it multiple times. Of course, younger generation, maybe there's something to it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, which actually was a sleeper hit at the box office. Now, like I said, I watched it. I thought it was very creative, but it doesn't, for me at least, hold together. It seems like it's just a lot of stuff where the filmmaker went, oh, wouldn't that be cool? Oh, wouldn't that be cool? Oh, wouldn't that be cool? And parts of it are coherent, parts of it are not. The great Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. But Best Supporting Actor at the New York Film Critics Award ceremony went to Ke Huy Quan. Now, you might go, okay, we all know that Everything Everywhere All at Once had a predominantly Asian American cast. So what's the big deal? Ke Huy Quan was Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom way, way back in the day. Very cool to see him getting some recognition now after all these decades and decades from when we first came to know him and love him as a young boy playing Indiana Jones' sidekick in what I believe is the best of the Indiana Jones movies, The Temple of Doom. So that's going to do it for this extra special bonus episode with me, the Maestro, Kevin Crane. Hopefully this whet your appetite a little bit for what's coming tomorrow night, for the sports, and what's coming for this weekend with Dave and I on the weekend edition, with all of our talk about music, movies, television, and streaming. Of course, we will have some dumbasses for you, but I have to admit, the last few weeks, maybe it's the holiday season, maybe all these pampered, arrogant athletes and these pampered, arrogant actors and actresses and musicians are kind of dialing it down because of the holidays, because it's been kind of hard here over the last few weeks to find some legitimate dumbasses. We've got a couple. Maybe another one or two will pop up in the next 24 hours. We'll find out. And of course, if we come up with any signs of arrogant stupidity in Hollywood or in your favorite sports town, we will call it out, as we always do. Take care. We will talk to you in 24 hours. I'm the Maestro. Tomorrow night, the Conquistador joins me for Sports Frenzy 2.0. Have a great night.